In today's video, we're going to talk about picking a muzzle for your dog and muzzle conditioning them to wear it on walks or in case of an emergency situation. Today I want to talk about muzzle conditioning with your dogs. This is a very important skill for all dogs to learn, not just those that may be reactive or aggressive. There may come a point in your dog's life where it needs to wear a muzzle, be that for vet care or in an emergency situation. In these situations especially, a muzzle may be very scary for our dogs if it has not previously been introduced to them. If your dog may be required to start wearing a muzzle on walks, it is important that we introduce it to them properly and gradually rather than just put it on them so that they can have positive associations with the muzzle from the start. We do this in little baby steps, which I would like to show you today. The first step is picking a muzzle for your dog. There are many different kinds of muzzles, and you may need to take measurements of your dog and try on different muzzles before finding the right fit for your dog. Many dogs may require a custom muzzle. This is a simple basket muzzle made by Baskerville that you can get at most pet stores. When we pick a muzzle for our dogs, there are a couple things that we want to keep in mind. There are three main things that our dogs should be able to do in their muzzle: pant, take treats, and drink water. This means that we would want a basket style muzzle like so. There are many different versions and different materials that basket muzzles can be made out of. Some common materials are a plastic like this, metal, or biothane. There are many different brands, and it'll take some time to figure out which one is exactly right for your dog based on your own individual needs with your muzzle and the size and shape of your dog's head. When we are picking a muzzle for training, we do not want to use one of the nylon or mesh muzzles that hold our dog's mouth tightly shut. We still want our dog to be able to open their mouth and accept treats from us during the training process, which is why a basket muzzle works so well. For some dogs, this will fit just fine. For this video, I will also be using Murdoch. Murdoch, like all of my dogs, is muzzle conditioned already. So please do not expect your dog to progress through the steps as quickly as Murdoch will. I will, however, be starting from step 1 to show you how to work with the muzzle with your dog. The first step is simply having your dog around the muzzle and making positive associations. As you can see, Murdoch does not care about the muzzle much at all. He isn't worried about it as he knows what it is. I would start simply by just having it out with my dog and rewarding him for being around the muzzle. Once he starts getting good at this, I would want him to look at the muzzle, yes, good dog, before rewarding him. Yeah, good dog. As you can see, Murdoch is quickly choosing to interact with the muzzle. Again, he knows what a muzzle is and has been through this training already, so he has picked up very quickly that I would like some kind of interaction or acknowledgement of the muzzle before rewarding him. I can even try moving the muzzle and having him target it that way. Yeah. Yeah, good job. Once our dog is choosing to interact with the muzzle, then we can begin the next step. I bend all the straps down like so that they won't brush against the dog. I then want to take treats and put them through the bars of the muzzle where the dog can get them and present it to my dog. Usually they will stick their face right in to get the treat out of your hands. I'm just using kibble for Murdoch here, but if you have a dog that seems particularly worried, or just to make extra good associations, you may want to use a particularly tasty treat or bigger pieces that make it easier for your dog to get. Things like beef tender sticks or spray cheese work great for this. Once your dog is happily putting their face in the muzzle, we can start to try and build a little bit of duration. Yes, good dog. Yes, good dog. Now I will be presenting the muzzle to Murdoch and waiting a few seconds before giving him the treat. Yes, good dog. Over time, we will gradually increase the duration that we wait. Yes, good dog. Yes, good dog. If he doesn't put his face in the muzzle quite enough, I can wait him out. Yeah, good dog. Things like spray cheese work great for building the duration, as you can give your dog the treat for sustained amounts of time. If my dog does not quite put his face in the muzzle like this, I wait him out until he corrects himself. Yes, good dog. Once our dog has gotten very good at putting their face into the muzzle, yes, and is starting to have good duration with it, I can start to put it on a cue if you find that helps. I simply use face for my dogs. Face. Good dog. As you'll see, Murdoch is choosing to repeatedly put his face into the muzzle and leave it there in the hopes of getting treats. This is when you know that you are ready to start putting the next step together of beginning to try and close the straps. Once he has gotten good with the duration with the straps at the side of his face, I want to begin to put the head strap over his head. How I do this is by having him put his face in the muzzle and feeding him, then carefully putting the strap over his ear and feeding him again. Then I take it off. We then repeat this a few times until he is comfortable wearing the muzzle like this. Good dog. Once he's comfortable wearing the muzzle like this, we can also work on increasing the duration at this step. We still have not properly buckled the muzzle on. Once we've increased the duration at this step, we can begin to practice buckling the muzzle up. Make sure that it's fit properly, and then you can practice feeding them with the muzzle on. In the start, you'll want to take the muzzle off pretty quickly. Good boy. After a while, you should be able to put the muzzle on your dog. Face. Good boy. Good boy. And then feed for duration, wearing the muzzle. Good boy. Get it. Again, you may find that using something like bigger treats or spray cheese works better for you, especially at this step when the dog is fully wearing the muzzle. Once your dog gets comfortable with wearing a muzzle in a calm situation, you can start to get them to move around a little bit. Murdoch. Yes, good boy. Spin. Good boy. Having them do fun, quick tricks is a great way to have them move around. Can you do spin? With the muzzle on and get used to wearing it. Good boy. Once our dog has gotten good at doing some tricks, touch. While wearing the muzzle, we can do the next step, which is beginning to take them on short walks. For this step for sure, using things like bigger treats that our dog can grab through the muzzle, or something like spray cheese or a squeeze tube can be a lot easier. I usually recommend starting with a short leash session within your own yard when beginning to go on your first few walks with a muzzle. When we first move outside, I like to start with simple steps, much like we did inside, where the dog is simply rewarded for wearing the muzzle and not trying to paw at it or get it off. Doing tricks, just like we did inside, is another great way to continue to build those positive associations. Do a spin. Yes, good dog. When our dog starts to be able to do simple walking exercises without rubbing their muzzle on us or the ground, we know that they are ready to begin trying to walk in longer stretches. Gradually, we'll be able to walk them in longer and longer stretches, eventually building up to being able to do full walks. I hope you found this video helpful in conditioning your dog to wear a muzzle. We can also use the methods that were shown here to teach our dog to wear a gentle leader or a head halter. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and we'd be happy to help. Happy training!